Henry Damico, who had the talent but no connections. They had mid-level desk jobs writing reports to dumbasses like me, who couldn't even understand them with a translator. So, when shit got real, and it was time for HHS to mobilize, there wasn't any leadership. I take responsibility for that. If you were building a bonfire to burn down the world, a lot of those logs would have my name on them. I'd be in good company, though. I honestly watched the Secretary of State once ask for demographics on the infected so that he could determine whether Republicans or Democrats were being hit disproportionately in order to prioritize relief. He literally wanted what few semi-competent staff members he had on hand to stop what they were doing so he could, in essence, allow opposing voters to die while giving aid to supporters. I'll never forget the president's response. That's a really good idea. That's a really goddamn good idea. About a month ago, I watched a frustrated general try to explain to the Secretary of Defense that the living dead could only be killed by destroying their brain. We were months into this shitstorm, and the guy who was managing our rapidly diminishing military resources didn't even understand how to kill the enemy. The last time I saw him, he was running to his car. When I asked his personal aide what was going on, she said that the Marine platoon he had delegated to guard his family's neighborhood had gone AWOL. When refugees started flooding in from every corner of the globe under the false assumption that America would manage the crisis better than their home nations, Homeland Security was still looking for terrorists. Plane loads of Asian and European infected were just pouring into our airports, but as long as they weren't on the terror list, they were welcomed in with open arms. Months into the shit, when the president finally asked if it would be a good idea to screen air travelers, the director of Homeland Security hadn't even thought about how to do it. By the time screening started, commercial flights had long since been grounded. It wasn't just the executive branch that was laden with incompetence. The House and the Senate were just as pitiful. Congress never saw a crisis it didn't try to exploit, and the zombie apocalypse was no exception. If the parties weren't already entrenched and oppositional, they were tenfold now. Need emergency funding for relief to metropolitan Chicago? Fuck you. We have to stop the spending somewhere. Cut my irrelevant earmark in a bill that gives the military authority to set up refugee centers in American cities? Fuck you. What do I get out of it? This bill makes sense, but makes the opposing party look good. Fuck you. I'll make up some reason to vote it down. Some congressmen courted their base by towing the line that the entire issue was a religious one. The rapture crowd was a vocal minority, but man, were they vocal. There was news footage of some representatives actually claiming that flesh-eating undead monsters had human rights, and actually floated federal bills that made it illegal to kill them. There were state and local governments that didn't just put forth bills like that, but actually passed them. There was no end to the insanity. In the beginning, before we really understood the epidemic, there were some extremists within government that wanted to quarantine every town in the nation and go door to door looking for infected, shooting them on sight. Draconian policies like this smacked of Nazi Germany and Soviet Russia, and the backlash from the American public was so extreme that the CDC saw incident reporting drop like a stone. Conversely, CDC field agent casualties, a term I had never before even seen in a report, skyrocketed. The last thing you should tell an American citizen is that the government is going to come to their home and kill someone they love. We knew the epidemic was spreading, but now, thanks to a couple of career politicians who wanted to look like John Wayne to their constituency, the CDC was blinded and their people were being killed. When things started getting really bad, representatives went to their home districts so they could put their own face to their voters' salvation. This is when things got much worse. Every senator and congressman wanted to be the man or woman who saved the Empire State Building, the Lincoln Memorial, the public library, or some little old lady's house. Hundreds of established and defensible military perimeters were moved and thinned, quickly became indefensible, and then failed. Hard choices had been made by the few capable people left in leadership. Sadly, those choices were immediately and directly undermined by politicians who didn't just lack an understanding of the situation, but had a rooted self-interest in exploiting it however they could. These so-called leaders had spent